What is going on, guys? I'm Tyler, and today I'm going to talk about reading, finding some time in your day to crush out some reading and better yourself as an individual. Reading provides so many benefits for you that we kind of just struggle to fit it in our busy schedules, or we just don't make it a priority. If you think of all the benefits that it can provide for us or the opportunities that we're potentially missing out on, there really isn't a reason to not be reading. For me, I never used to be a reader or thought of all the benefits that it could provide for me, or I was never really a good reader. I'm still, I would say, an average or below average reader. I'm not a very good reader at all. Like, do you remember those times in English class where you would be reading a book and the teacher would call on everyone individually and they'd have to read a part? And for me, those times were extremely scary, and I was probably one of the slowest, if not the slowest reader always in the class. And that was definitely not my time to shine, and maybe it was just my thought where I was comparing myself to everyone else and I just put myself down. So I don't know if that's what it was, but I was definitely not one of the best readers, and I was definitely one of the worst readers. So that really did not feel good for me whenever I was reading. I'd never finished a book in my life until I was 24, and I think the farthest I ever got before that was through some Harry Potter books. I maybe got through the introduction, maybe that far. Those books were really big, and I kind of just thought to myself, why read when I could just watch the movie and find a lot more enjoyment out of that? So for me, reading was not a big thing. And before I went away for school, I thought to myself, everyone says reading's really good for you and there's so many benefits for you. So I thought to myself, let's read. I bought my first book, and it was actually a series, The Maze Runner. It was actually a pretty good series, and I really enjoyed it, and that's kind of what started me on this track. Ever since reading those books, I've now gravitated more so towards business, personal development, and the like, and I've loved reading those books, and it's become part of my daily routines now. Reading has helped me out immensely with life and just provided me with so much knowledge and experience, learning from other people's mistakes and what's worked well for them, and just so much other stuff that I probably don't even realize that it's helped me with. If you are looking at getting into reading, I would say make the financial commitment and just buy one book and then just start reading. If you aren't a good reader, that's going to come with practice and time, so you just got to be patient. And over time, you're going to build up those skills and become a better reader. If you look at it this way, if you just read 10 pages per day, and for me, I'm a pretty slow reader, that's about 3 minutes per page. That's only 30 minutes that you have to block off. Books on average are about 200 pages. So that's about 18 books per year if you're able to stick with that. So if you think about that, that's 18 books that you're going to read that you otherwise wouldn't have. And it's just going to give you so much more knowledge and skills that you otherwise wouldn't have developed. I saw this really cool video that this guy made where he started and he put the words on the screen, kind of like what's going on right now. And let's say the average person reads 100 words per minute. And that's what it started out as. And over time, it built up to say 500 words per minute. And that's way above the average. I thought this was a really interesting video, so don't limit yourself and your mind, and thanks for liking. I'll give a couple good book recommendations to either just start out on, or if you haven't read them, I recommend them because they are really good books. And the first one is The Alchemist. This basically talks about financial literacy, and it breaks down the principles, and instead of just telling you the principles, it creates it into a story. And it really draws you in. And for me, this was a really good book, and I finished it, I think, within a weekend. So I think this is a really good book to start out on. Another good book that creates a story around the principles is The Go-Giver. This is a 3-part series book. Go-Giver Leader. This is also a story-based book with the principles. And Go-Giver Sell More. This isn't really a story. It just kind of tells the principles. But I would recommend The Go-Giver for sure because it creates that story and it draws you in and keeps you interested and want to keep reading and learning more. Next, probably one of my favorite books is The Slight Edge. Now, this is a little bit bigger book, so it might not be the best book to start with, but it does have a lot of good information and a lot of principles that you can apply to your life that they make relatable. And for me, it was one of the books that I've consistently thought about after I've read it. So if you do want to read that book, I strongly recommend it. It's a really good book and has a lot of good information for you to apply to your life and everything that you do. I have so many more books that I would recommend, but I'll just start you off with those first few. They're quick and easy books that can start you off on the right path. So if you haven't read them, they're good books, or if you're just starting out, they're also really good books to start and read. If you find yourself struggling to focus on reading or your mind keeps trailing off, what I found that really works well is putting on noise canceling headphones. Or if you don't have noise canceling headphones, just put headphones on, and then you can throw in ambient noises or just something in background music where it just helps block out the outside noises and it helps focus you on reading. And I found this really helps for me. So if you are finding that you are struggling reading, I do recommend doing this as well. Moving on to finding time throughout the day to read. There's probably several times throughout the day where you could read. Say if you're scrolling through Instagram or TikTok, whatever app it might be, just put your phone down and say for 15 or 30 minutes, pick up a book and start reading, and invest that time in yourself and bettering yourself as an individual. If you say you are too busy throughout the day to find times for reading, there's two perfect times to read, and that's in the morning or at night. And what you could do is just set your alarm for say 30 minutes sooner, and your phone's going to be quiet because not as many people are going to be up. So that's going to give you the freedom to block off say 15 or 30 minutes to read and start your day with that. Or at night, you could block off say 30 minutes before you go to bed, and that's going to help ease your mind. So there's two benefits to it because it just helps ease your mind, and you're going to be more rested and help get to sleep a little bit easier, and you're also going to get 30 minutes of reading in before bed. So instead of lying in your bed on your phone or whatever you may be doing, block off that last 30 minutes of your day and devote that to reading. For me, I find this is the best time to read, and for you, it might be different, so find whatever works for you. Maybe it's in the morning or afternoon or after dinner. Just find that time, 15 to 30 minutes to block off, and over time, you're going to be really happy that you did do this. And I say 15 to 30 minutes as you want to start small and attainable, and once that becomes automatic, then you can start building up on that. But at first, you want to start out small and then slowly build on that. So I hope with all this information, you take it and you implement it on your life, and hopefully you're averaging 15 books or more a year, and truly you will be grateful that you did start doing these habits. Let me know in the comments below what book you are reading or what book has been your favorite and what that's about. I love reading, and I love any and all recommendations on books. And as always, thanks for watching, and let's level up.